Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zakia Williams, and I am the owner and maker of Y.O.L.O.Mommie. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this Valentine's Day tumbler doing a full vinyl wrap. So y'all know what to do. Let's get into it. You want to start with your cup prepped. I went ahead and sanded the cup, but I did not spray paint it because I'm going to put the vinyl wrap over it. I purchased this vinyl from Auntie Tay. It's actually a Flynn Sisters boutique original design. The information is listed in the description down below. I went ahead and trimmed off the bottom portion of that vinyl. You want to start with the straight line on your cup. Sometimes I usually just line my cup up against my paper cutter and run the blade next to the cup. It creates a faint line. I then use that line to create a straight edge for me to lay down my vinyl. You'll see me here pulling my vinyl from the paper backing. I like to fold down that paper backing about an inch or an inch and a half down. You don't want to remove the entire backing of the vinyl. So I just fold it down a little bit so I can have some of that vinyl exposed so I can lay it down on my cup on my straight line. You'll see me just lining up my vinyl right on that straight line that we created. You want to get your vinyl lined up in a straight line, and then you'll just see me press it down, and I just kind of take my hand and press down the vinyl as I go around the cup. Sometimes I use my little scraper tool that you saw on there to press down the vinyl, but sometimes I find it just easier just to use my hands and just kind of firmly press the vinyl around, lifting up the vinyl if I get a few bubbles in between me going around the cup. Once you have finished with the wrap, you want to take a sharp knife and just go down the seam that the vinyl created when it overlapped. You want to take your knife and just run it right next to the line to create a straight edge. After you have cut down the seam of your vinyl, make sure that you cut through all the way from the bottom and also from the top where you have the excess vinyl. Once you have that cut all the way through, you can just remove the excess vinyl from the cup. For the bottom of the cup, you want to just pull the vinyl tight over the bottom edge of the cup. You see me here just kind of going around the cup and smoothing out all of those wrinkles. You just want to do this all around the bottom portion of the cup. We want to get it really smoothed out, and if you're having trouble with getting those wrinkles smoothed out, just kind of hit it really quickly with your heat gun. If the vinyl is really good and flexible, it'll kind of smooth things down for you. After you have everything smoothed down nicely and most of the wrinkles are out, you just want to take your craft knife and run it around the bottom edge of that cup where you have that excess vinyl. You see me here just running my knife right around the edge here. And for now, we're going to leave the bottom as is, and then I'll show you later on in the video how I finish the bottom of this cup. At the top rim of the cup, just as you did at the bottom, you want to pull that vinyl taut over the top and just take a very sharp craft knife and just kind of go around the top of the cup and trim off that excess vinyl. Now it's time for our first coat of epoxy. I have mixed about 40 milliliters of epoxy for this cup, keeping in mind that this is a 30-ounce cup. Now that you have your epoxy on and it's nice and smooth, you just want to go ahead and make sure that you take your torch and pop any bubbles that you have. Now it's time for sanding as usual. I'm going to sand around the rim of the cup, exposing a small area of the stainless steel, which will give our epoxy something to adhere to during our final coats of epoxy. After we have fully sanded our cup, we want to focus on the bottom. You want to just take your painter's tape and kind of mask off this bottom portion so we can prepare it to be spray painted. We're going to use some white spray paint to cover up the bottom of the cup. I'm going to use some plastic saran wrap to cover the remaining portion of the cup. So once we go to spray our spray paint, we don't have to worry about any of that overspray getting on the rest of the cup. Okay, once the bottom of our cup is fully dry, I'm just going to take some painter's tape here and kind of just mask off where I want to apply my decal. Since this is a 30-ounce cup, I wanted the decal to be kind of big on this cup. I wanted it to cover, a large portion of the cup. You'll see me just kind of measuring off the area. This is the area where I'm going to spray my spray paints. I purchased this decal from Cricut Access and created the water slide. All the materials that I used are listed in the description down below. Once I had my areas marked off where my decal was going to go, I just used that same plastic wrap that I used before to mask off the cup, to mask off the area that I was going to spray paint. This way I wouldn't get any of the overspray on this portion of the cup, because this is where my decal was going to go. Okay, my saran wrap method didn't work, so I ended up using my painter's tape to cover up that area where my decal was going to go. You'll see me here just kind of putting my painter's tape down, and I still use the saran wrap. I just didn't use it to cover up this area. I used it to cover up the bottom area of the cup. It was giving ghetto, y'all. I already know. I sprayed a flat black spray paint in the area where we're going to place our decal. Once that was dry, I went right behind it and sprayed a flat white spray paint on top. So I wanted to create a rustic kind of look here. And so to achieve that, I had to spray the black spray paint on the bottom and then spray the lighter color spray paint on the top. Okay, now is the fun part. If you notice that you have some overspray on your cup, don't worry too much about it. In these containers, in the blue container, I have some 91% rubbing alcohol, and I have some acetone in the pink container. So I'm just going to use my alcohol here to kind of get off all of that excess paint that we don't want on the cup. We're just going to try to clean it up with that alcohol. To get the look that we want, we're going to use our acetone to remove some of the paint, and we're going to go behind it and use our alcohol to clean it up. So don't worry if it's looking a little muddled up or a little dirty. We're going to clean that up with the acetone. I know that this is a tedious process. I'm cleaning this cup up, but I know you can do it. You got to put your neck into it. You got to put your back into it, and you definitely need your arm strength. It actually took me about 20 minutes after this to get this all cleaned up off camera. So I know that it's hard work. You just have to work at it and you'll get it all cleaned up. I'm going to measure out the sides just to see if I have enough area painted for my decal. I'm going to take my scissors and go around and cut all of the excess paper from around my water slide. I just want basically the image. So I'm going to take my scissors and go around as close as I can on the water slide. Once I have my water slide all cut out, it's now time to place my water slide onto my cup. I have a bowl of just room temperature water here. I'm going to place my water slide inside of the bowl and just let it sit there until the water slide is ready to slide off of the paper backing. When working with water slides, you want to make sure that everything is wet. You want to make sure that your water slide stays wet at all times because water slide has a tendency to shrink as it dries. So you want to keep it wet at all times. So usually what I do is I would place a little bit of water on my cup, and then I would just place my wet water slide right on top of the cup. As you can see, the water slide, it is very flexible and it can move. So your water slide is not adhered to the cup at this point. You can still move your water slide. You can still lift it up and place it back down on the cup. If you like to see more videos of me using water slides, please let me know down in the comments below. After I applied my water slide, I let my water slide dry for about 30 minutes before we began our final coats of epoxy. I have mixed about 40 milliliters of epoxy for this cup, and I used about 40 milliliters of epoxy for this cup. You have your epoxy on and it's nice and smooth. Go ahead and use your torch to pop any bubbles that you may have on the cup. This particular cup took 3 final coats before it was nice and smooth. I just love the way that this turned out. I love the vinyl, and I think that this decal was perfect, and I hope you love the gnome you're with for Valentine's Day. If you like this video and would like to see more videos like it, please subscribe and follow. Thanks for watching.